So everyone, we are back with the second attempt at the second round of the fifth Yu-Gi-Oh! Quarantine series. We will be watching an Unchained match because I know chat loves that deck so much. Unfortunately, our first attempt at getting an Unchained player into a game did not necessarily pan out, so I will port you over to the other undefeated Unchained player right now. All right. And here we are. You can see this game is already in progress. We've got Casserole the Dumb on Unchained and Lily Coyote on Cyber Dragon. And if we just swap these names here, we should have it done. So, this is a pretty bad matchup, I would expect, for Unchained. Your opponent is able to, at any time, just go into Chimera Tech Mega Fleet Dragon and, unfortunately, just wipe your entire board. You've got to port out of Unchained Soul of Rage almost immediately as a result, and it looks like they're doing a pretty good job of keeping their opponent under wraps. You know, Summon Limit is a great way to ensure that the entire turn will be used to make a Chimera Tech Mega Fleet Dragon if you so desire, but otherwise, it is frustrating. You don't have the ability to elect to summon monsters not in the extra monster zone, of course. Link monsters are absolutely necessary to put in the EMZ. But it looks like Casserole the Dumb has made it through the pivotal turn that would have determined the outcome of it. We're going into Tour Guide from the Underworld here, a lot less powerful when you have a summon limit on your side of the field, but still not the worst thing in the world. We will get a Dark Spirit of Malice. The Dark Spirit's a very weird inclusion in this deck, but they offer it such an undeniably powerful grind game that it's hard to pass up. You can see when your opponent activates a card or effect, you can send this from your hand or field to the graveyard, then target a level 8 Fiend in the graveyard, special it, but its effects are negated. This doesn't, of course, negate the effect. Then if a level 8 Fiend monster is sent to the graveyard, you get to put this card back in your hand. This and Dark Spirit of Banishment form a resource loop with, well, if it allows us to, Unchained Soul of Disaster and Unchained Abomination that is very hard for any deck to out-resource. Alright, so we're going to go for a Cyber Emergency here. Wow, just finding literally every Cyber Searcher in the world, but unfortunately the Grave's got a Hertz and not a lot else, it looks like. Adding a Cyber Dragon Core to hand, of course, the most powerful of any of the Cyber Dragon summons. Normaling this Cyber Dragon Core is going to allow them to add a Cyber Spell or Trap from the deck to the hand. There are a couple of good targets here, but looks like we're going to see absolutely none of them. Infinite Impermanence is very painful here. Not only does it prevent the search, but this card is also not called Cyber Dragon. So Chimera Tech Mega Fleet is right out, or not Mega Fleet, Fortress. Mega Fleet only requires a Cyber Dragon monster. MBT, will you do an update to Unchained if this deck does good? I'll consider it. I think my original take on Unchained was not particularly good, and not a good representation of where the decks ended up. And even though they were able to clear the Link 3 and the Tour Guide from the Underworld, the Abominable Unchained Soul not only challenges the Mega Fleet, it turns on the resource loop with Dark Spirit of Malice. This is looking very good in what would otherwise, in my opinion, be a near unwinnable matchup. Ooh, that is a sweet rip. An Unchained Twins Arua here, electing not to special it from the summon limit destruction. Apparently we're not going to go too hard here. Likely just switch all these monsters to attack, go to combat, and then in main phase 2, make Rika. We've only got, at maximum, one Mega Fleet remaining, given the one in the graveyard. So it's very possible that over the course of several turns, Casserole is just able to run their opponent out of the Mega Fleets necessary to stay in the game. Not something I would have expected to happen, but still could happen nonetheless. Alright, going into the battle phase here, keeping this Dark Spirit of Malice in defense position. And then getting in for 15, I think likely in main phase 2, potentially seeing a Link summon. Ooh, a Link summon of Cherubini. That is a very, very interesting one. Wow, and sending a Dark Spirit of Banishment here. This is going to be really hard to get rid of this Abominable Unchained Soul. When it's sent to the graveyard, you could trigger, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, chat, both the Banishment and the Malice in order to get them both to the hand. And from that position, it's extremely hard to out this resource loop. Lightning Storm's good, but ooh, going for the Spell and Trap so you don't get that off to the races. Getting rid of the summon limit for potentially explosive Cyber Dragon turns. Alright, gonna DD Crow the Dark Spirit of Banishment, but of course the Dark Spirit of Malice is still in there. MBT redoing Unchained, but hasn't redone Endymion. I do deserve a second look at Endymion for sure. Another machine duplication. Wow. But this card's name is Cyber Dragon, I believe. Yeah, there's only one remaining in the deck. We've got 2 Sidras and a Noxter. We could potentially make a Mega Fleet here, but we're probably, yeah, just going to go into Cyber Dragon Infinity. It's the only thing that really cleanly outs this board. You're able to take this Unchained, Abominable Unchained Soul and tuck it under the Infinity and then walk over the Cherubini at a time when they don't control any other cards. Ooh, new CDI art. That's a huge nerf. Big mistake. All right, we're going to go into Cyber Dragon Ziga here. And I mean, this is obviously a very bad matchup, but, you know, any deck is going to struggle to out double machine duplication. All right, set 1 card. Wow, if that's an overflow, that is unbelievable. Yeah, I would... It seems to me as if Cyber Dragon has this in the bag. Whoop, Sarama's good! Sarama is good! We can set an Unchained card in the graveyard and then pop a card we control. Not a very good thing to negate with Cyber Dragon Infinity, of course, because if you negate that first effect, they'll be able to trigger the second one, which summons an Unchained from deck. You'll be down in Infinity. Going for the Unchained Soul of Doggeroni. And yeah, they are going to go ahead and negate it. Okay, well, looks like the dog isn't making it onto the field, but the Sarama will trigger. This allows them to summon an Unchained from the hand or deck, and we could make the dog at a time that our opponent doesn't have negation, provided that we have a second one in deck. Looks like instead we're going for the soul. Can't really fault that. This is a bad position to be in. This is a quick effect, of course, so you could attack into the Infinity, but unfortunately it would just eat the Ziger, and now you're in a position where you've got the soul and the resource loop, but the Infinity can just tuck that sucker under it, and seems pretty much over. All right, we're going to go ahead and put this Abominable Unchained Soul under the CDI, and I believe, yeah, pretty much the entire materials on the CDI at this point in time is a double Unchained Soul. That is going to be it. All right, let's see if you can run it back. Why didn't he summon the doggo? Very possible they weren't on 2 copies of the doggo. And the doggo is a Garnet. They don't call it Unchained Soul of Dog Shit for nothing. This is game 2, chat. As far as I can tell. All right, so we're going into game 2, and I imagine we'd be forcing the Cyber Dragon player to go first. No! The Abomination player getting the run back. Well, okay, let's see what you've got. That's going to eat an Ash Blossom, the Abomination's Prison, of course. An extremely powerful card. Adds an Unchained card from your deck to your hand. But this deck has a multitude of ways in order to access its plays. Going to set 3 and pass. Might look unassuming, but it could be a whole bunch of really powerful spells and traps that are in archetype. And notably, don't really want to go in on something like, oh, I don't know, an Unchained Link monster into Cyber Dragon. The Heat Wave coming down from the Cyber Dragon player. Wow, that's painful. And so now neither player can normal or special summon effect monsters until the next draw phase. Going to set 1 and pass. Wow, wow, wow. All right, let's try for Unchained Abomination's Prison again. If you've got another Ash Blossom, this is the time. This does have a hard once per turn on it. And it's a use, not an activate, so a negation here will just prevent it. Right, going for Rika here, telegraphs no normal summon, but if any of these cards are Unchained, they're going to have a problem eventually. Right now, just going to set 1 card. Very happy to do so in Unchained, of course. Setting 1 card, what's your opponent going to do? Walk over it? Well, that triggers the Unchained effect. From there, you can get Rika, and then you can pop this back row. All right, here comes the Foolish Burial. And that eats an Ash Blossom. All right, known information out of the way for the Unchained player. These 3 set cards are going to have to do something fantastic. Core is a sweet rip. Adds a Cyber Spell and Trap from the deck to the hand. I believe we will probably get Overflow, Emergency. We could get Fusion if we're going for the OTK. It's a weird position to be in because Cyber Dragon has a lot of cards, yeah, we are going for Cyberload Fusion, that are just natively good against setting cards, but popping the spell and trap cards that are found in Unchained is a real Russian roulette. You can accidentally plus your opponent to infinity, is what I'm trying to say. All right, so we're going to fire off this machine duplication. And, of course, because the name is Cyber Dragon, we can summon a couple of Cyber Dragons. We'll go into Cyber Dragon Nova here. And then Cyber Dragon Nova, of course, way more powerful in Cyber Dragon than in other decks because it can reborn a Cyber Dragon. Unfortunately, to do so, you have to have one in your graveyard. Here comes CDI. Oof. And a Verte Anaconda. Yeah, you were absolutely right, chat. Going for a Verte Anaconda play here just to close out the game as fast as possible. This triggers Hertz and gets a Cyber Dragon 2-hand. It's the last one. And the Verte Anaconda spending 2,000 life points in order to send an Overload Fusion. We'll be banishing as much as possible from the graveyard here in order to go into the most powerful fusion monster that is currently legal. That's a lie, but this card is very good. So when this is fusion summoned, you can target spells and traps on the field up to the number of fusion materials used for its summon, and then destroy them. Then you can send 2 light machines from your deck to the graveyard for extra attacks in the battle phase. Unfortunately, those were both Unchained cards, so we're going to be able to proc not only Abominable Chamber, but also Escape. And whoa, Fiending the Infinity, that might not be the right play here. So we get 1 Unchained summon. Ooh, going for Arua seems probably correct. And the Overflow, wow, the Overflow is so strong. Hitting the 3rd one, it's another Unchained! Oh, how many times must I teach you this lesson, old man? And here comes the doggo. Wow, and they really don't have a good out to the doggo. Of course, Cyber Dragon Infinity can only attach monsters that are in face-up attack position. We're going to use the effect of Rampage, sending Hertz and Noxter for follow-up plays next turn. We'll go to battle phase, but what, you're going to walk into Unchained monsters? We can use Arua to go get Rika, and then Rika to go get Arua. Wow, and just think about, imagine if this was any other deck, and your opponent was able to make Infinity and then Heavy Storm you. Like, that'd be really strong. Unchained specifically, not so much. Alright, and walking into what we know is Rika here. Rika's going to trigger, and then we'll probably be able to get, what, Abominable? Anything we want out of the deck, really. Going for a second copy of Samara, okay, sure. Alright, going for the second attack here off Rampage Dragon, Sarama will trigger. I don't think we've used, which effect haven't we used yet? Abominable Unchained Soul is good, but likely we'll take this opportunity to walk over the remaining Samara because it is a hard once per turn. Nope, instead walking over the Abominable Unchained Soul. Okay, I mean, this is pretty devastating. Not getting the dog off the field makes me think that they are really in for it. We can activate the Sarama first, and tucking that Verte Anaconda so you don't take extra damage. See, we draw off the top. Doggo is not a quick effect. No, Unchained Soul of Disaster is really not very good. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and activate the effect of Sarama. If that's any Unchained card, that's going to be a disaster. This is a bad scenario to be in. You want to CDI this, but at the same time, doing it allows your opponent to plus by activating the effect of Sarama. Cyberload Fusion the play instead. Activating Cyberload Fusion here. They're going to Fusion Summon a Cyber Dragon monster, and I don't know which one that would be. Another Rampage? That's fine. I mean, what are you going to do? Destroy spells and traps? That's absolutely okay. Alright, so we know the set card is an Escape. It's a decent rip off the top. Do you even activate Chimera Rampage's effect here? We know that the set card is going to plus even further. Abominable Unchained Soul is a really good card here. It's able to out the Cyber Dragon Infinity, and then in main phase 2, we can start going into Link monsters. We don't even have to activate any additional attacks. Activating Wailing here. That's odd. Alright, looks like we are going to go to combat. Ooh, no, just going to the Link monster right now, going into Unchained Soul of Rage. That'll trigger Wailing of the Unchained Soul, and I don't think... Does CDI have the ability to do this? When a card or effect is activated. Okay. So now that CDI is out of the way, we'll activate Unchained Soul of Disaster. That allows, I think, a second Rage. We could also go into Abomination. That'd be funny. No, we're going into Rage. This is a tough scenario. Like, you can clear the opponent's board very easily, but, I mean, from this position, your opponent can just banish the cards in their graveyard in order to add enough Cyber Dragons to make Chimera Tech. Oh, wow! Access code is it. Whoa, 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 whoa. That's pretty strong. I don't know if it's, like, game-winning, though. Yeah, I mean, this is a cool play, but does lose to just about everything else. Yeah, and I can't help but feel that, like, maybe it was worth it to just walk over the Chimera Tech while you had the ability to do so. I mean, just looking at the given knowledge from the Cyber Dragon player, that they could easily just get rid of this monster in the extra monster zone. And it looks like a surrender, maybe not. Were they out of Cyber Dragons from the machine duplication? Did I count it wrong? They were! Oh, wow! Okay. Well, access code brought him home, and suddenly the Unchained player is one game away from walking away from a set with this absolute worst matchup. Oh, I'm not going to say it, Chad. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. Okay, fine, I'll say it. It's time for that all-important Game 3, and... Alright, leading with a copy of Tour Guide from the Underworld. This is the ideal start for Unchained. You know, you get into scenarios where you're not able to make your Unchained monsters. That sucks. I don't even know if we link summon here. Yeah, don't want to give our opponent anything in the EMZ, and Arua is just as good in face-up defense position as it is in attack. Or in... Anything else? Ooh, man, Lightning Storm. Not learning any lessons from the previous game, are we? Destroying spells and traps. I got a good idea of what those are. Well, the Infinite Impermanence is a sweet get, but Escape from the Unchained, of course, will turn into an Unchained Twin Rika, and this is a quick effect if Arua is ever threatened, or if they just want to tag out. You can use the effect of Rika to pop the Arua, go into something like Abominable Unchained Soul as removal, something like the Doggo if you want defensive options. Wow. I don't know why you would do this again. Oh, that's why. Going into battle phase here, telegraphing an evenly matched. And if they have it, it's going to be real strong. Yep. What do you do here? This is hard. You probably Rika targeting Arua, and then you banish down to the Rika, then you trigger the Arua afterwards. It's not the end of the world, but you wanted to be able to flex this pop as a piece of disruption, as a way to go into your Garnets, to not have to worry about Unchained Soul of dog shit. I mean, it's not ideal. Ooh, wow, going into some Sarama here. God, I'm just not used to this card. Sarama is such a threatening monster. Alright, Cyber Dragon Court looks like will resolve, and hey, if all that the Lightning Storm did was ensure that this card resolves, maybe it's still good enough. Getting an Overflow, I don't know. Overflow just seems so weak. We're going to use Galaxy Soldier to get a Galaxy Soldier to hand. That last card in hand's got to be exactly a light monster if you want to make a copy of Infinity this turn, and it looks like it is. It's another copy of Core, so it looks like the hand is Overflow. The field is going to be Cyber Dragon Nova into Infinity. We're going to have a Zeger on the field because we can use Nova to bring back this Cyber Dragon from the graveyard. I mean, this is fine, but I mean, that's the whole turn. That's the entire setup. Oh, not even using Nova here. Do they know something I don't? Oh, prioritizing the Almirage over it. All right, so Sarama's on, you know? Do we have a relevant target in the graveyard? Oh, what do you know? An Escape from the Unchained. I think we're going to go ahead and target that. Dares his opponent to activate the effect of Overflow. We're going to activate Almirage, targeting Infinity here. That's fine. Can Almirage target either player's card? Oh, that would be adorable. But no, it's a monster you control. We'll destroy Rika here. Rika, I think, is probably going into, what, the dog? I don't know. There's a lot of options from this position. Going into Abominable Unchained Soul, going to trigger its effect to try and, I think, get rid of the Cyber Dragon Infinity. That'll prompt the Cyber Dragon Infinity, but by the time that Cyber Dragon Infinity destroys it, the Dark Spirit of Malice in the graveyard will trigger. Wow, that is adorable. Instead, as a result, they're going to fire off the Cybernetic Overflow, so it looks like the Infinity will be going to the graveyard, and they will be popping their opponent's board. Abominable Unchained Soul, one of the very few cards that it doesn't really want destroyed. Ooh, targeting the Soul instead. All right, Dark Spirit of Malice is now going to trigger, getting back the Abominable Unchained Soul. And then Cybernetic Overflow is going to trigger as well because it was destroyed. Going to get Cyber Emergency. Oh, I see. Smart chat. So they weren't able to target the Infinity because of Almirage. Well, in that case, it sucks even activating the effect of Unchained Soul because you'll plus your opponent off the Overflow. I understand why you have to do it. It might be worth to just target Cyber Dragon Infinity and, like, eat the fact that it can't be destroyed. All right, Unchained Soul of Disaster is a great way to proc the Infinity effect. Okay. There goes Disaster. That'll trigger Disaster. Who do we have that's good? Soul seems alright. I mean, they all seem pretty good. We haven't used Arua this turn either. Looks like we are going for Arua. What, proceed to battle phase, walk in with Arua? Normal Rika. Wow, that's incredible. Popping the back row, and of course the Escape from the Unchained has not yet been used. If we summon any Unchained and go into the Link 3, you could eat the Cyber Dragon Infinity. That seems like a lot of work, though. We know our opponent's going to be able to stop whatever we make as well. You know, after all, they do have Cyber Emergency in hand. Yeah, I just feel like if they had just eaten the bad target and hit the Infinity with the Abominable, then they wouldn't be in this position. And going to end phase here, wow, that feels miserable. Did I miss something? That doesn't seem good at all. All right, Cyber Emergency time. I guess we're getting Dark Spirit of Malice. That allows them to bring back the dog. I don't even know if that's necessarily good. Looks like they're going to CDI it while there's no level 8 on the field for recursion. Going for Noxter here. Kind of telegraphs what the draw for turn is, I think. We will normal Noxter. Activate Noxter's effect. Bring back Nova. This will prompt the Rika. And either pop is just so good right now. We're going for a Rua. We're going to trigger a Rua. I imagine to go into Abominable Unchained Soul. Yep, that's what we're going for. Discarding the dog in hand. Ain't that the way it always seems? Popping the Nova. That triggers Nova. No. That triggers Malice. This person obviously did not play during Cosmo format. Here comes Barboroid. Let's see. No, it's just Chimera Tech Rampage. Rampage is not frightening at all. I do like this match. It's two individuals who absolutely refuse to respect their opponent's game plans. Like, the Unchained player is into being destroyed, and the Sidra player is like, yeah, of course I'm searching the trap card. Why wouldn't I? The Cyber Dragon player is into destroying spells and traps, and they're like, yeah, I'll fire it again. Who cares? In a lot of ways, it's both players playing at full capacity. We'll get the 8 off the field. We'll get the Sarama off the field. If you've got a third dog, you can summon it. I hesitate to... I can't think of what a good target would be. Rika's fine. Rika's effect hasn't been activated this turn. So we'll fire the Rika effect after the attack from Chimera Tech Rampage. And that'll get a Rua. Rua's going to get eaten by the Cyber Dragon Infinity. And no targets left. Or this has been activated this turn. It's been a long turn. I don't really remember what the reasoning is. It seems unlikely that Unchained is going to be able to do this. Sorry, chat. I just feel as if they had lines that potentially got them out of this, but elected to go for ones that played around their opponent's game plan in the worst ways, but respected it in other ways. I mean, yikes. And with a normal summoned Cyber Dragon core, I would imagine this is just about over. That set card's got to be something fantastic. As long as Lily Coyote doesn't jump the gun and destroy it for some reason. Going for the Malice here because an effect was activated. That gets the dog back. But all you got to do is CDI this. If that set card's an infip, it could potentially work out. Abominable Chamber is okay. You're going to be able to use Abominable Chamber to bring back the dog, which walls? Are we going to be able to OTK with the 3,000 attack dog? Is that the plan from this position? Well, the 3,000 attack dog is pretty good. We can just switch it to attack position and prompt the Zeeker, maybe? No. Do we have any pendulums in the tournament today? Not a significant amount. We have 2 Abyss Actors, though, for some reason. Gonna add Rev System to hand. Yeah, this has got to be it. The Infinite Impermanence is very funny here, but I don't think it really accomplishes much. Rev System for Noxter, Noxter's effect. Who do we still have in the graveyard? Nova? That's a pretty good one. I don't think we'll be making the same mistake where we destroy it again. And, of course, Seeger is going to make it very easy to get over this monster. Targeting the Infinity here. We're taking a fair amount. Things could be worse. It's going to trigger the dog, but... oh, you can't target the dog with the dog, so you'll have to summon something that is likely not going to be long for this world. You could get one of the larger Unchains in attack, but then in main phase 2, they'll attach it to the bottom of Infinity, so you're likely going to have to go into something like Reika, and we know the targets for this card are few and far between at this point. There is something a little beautiful about Cyber Dragon Infinity and Infinite Impermanence in the same deck. Going into Arua, if you've got, like, exactly the last copy of the Unchained triplet, you could potentially threaten something, but it's a messy line with CDI on the field. Okay. A second CDI, you got it. Gonna tuck that Cyber Dragon core under it. I think probably we're gonna tuck the Noxter. Oh no, it's in defense. Alright. Can you beat a couple of negates? Ash Blossom. Little late on that one, but we're gonna target the dog here. That will fiend a negate. That will activate the effect of Sarama. Let's get the third dog. Let's see the third dog. Nope, no targets remain. Wow, and that is going to be it. the Cyber Dragon player has chewn through every single Unchained monster in the deck. But unfortunately, let me get those Coder dogs out. It is not looking good for the Unchained player. Still X1, still could make it into top 8, but from this position, they're going to have to win every single game, which is a tall order for a deck that can lose by virtue of drawing double dog in the opener. Well, that is rough. I'm not going to pretend like it isn't. Clearly, I need a shower, so I'm going to see if I can sneak that right now. I appreciate chat and their show of solidarity with the Unchained player. There is another Unchained player as well. It's possible one of them makes it. Two of them picked up game 1, so they could potentially do it, but it's going to be rough.